Welcome back to ESL One Katowice 2019, our third and final day of the group stages. We'll also move in very briefly to give you a snippet of the bracket play this afternoon with our first best-of-3 series from the upper bracket semi-final as well. Still decisions to be made as to where teams finish in both groups, however, and we're moving a little closer to finding out how that story unfolds as well. Team Secret currently lead Gambit in their series. They're 1-0 up, so they move to 8-1. Just one more will make them 9-1 and finish top of the group. Likewise, OG are also 1 up, but what I can also tell you from that is there is a brand new record from that game. OG versus For the Dream was completed in 12 minutes and 28 seconds. The fastest of the patch so far, the fastest ever at an ESL One, and the fastest of any game played during the ESL One qualifiers or at the main event.
That's an amazing victory for FTD.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Right?
OG.
Wait, you sure?
Nice. Well, it's good because it means they're going to be out of the tournament quicker, I guess.
Wow.
Is that I don't know. I already felt bad for them, Alan. But when they're getting smashed around like that in 12 minutes and 28 seconds by a Chen troll Ember game.
Wow. We'll talk about Ember if it comes up. Ember has been crushing.
Ember has been really good.
We were talking about upsides for FTD at the start of the show.
I was trying to be positive.
The tournament's not over yet. Sure, you've lost, but maybe you can end on a win. No, it can get much worse, apparently. You can get thrashed and embarrassed.
It's Dota, dude. It can always get worse.
It's almost 6 minutes faster than any game that's been played in the last 2 months.
That is statistically to see a game of that length of this level is incredibly unusual.
I think it's the fastest game I've ever personally seen. At an event I've attended on LAN.
I would have to think about it for quite a while to find a 12-minute.
I mean, there were a couple of 11-minute games at one of the TIs that I didn't go to. I think maybe TI 3 that I watched.
Oh,
it's been a long time since I've seen a game that
snowball meta.
Yeah, maybe.
That one, maybe.
Yeah. Talk to Fogged, he knows.
Ooh.
He was involved in 2 of the top 7 fastest games of all time at TI.
Oh God.
He's in the building.
That was very diplomatic, though. Involved in. That was really very.
Hey, I didn't say it was his fault. Didn't say.
Wait, he won those, right? No. Just like FTD won versus OG, right?
Well, he won in the sense that he got out of the arena quick. But that was about it. Brutal over on the other streams. Don't forget those 2 streams are ongoing. You can go and tune into those games. Game 2 draft is underway on one of those games, and the other one will be very shortly along, as it will be here as well, where we are focusing on Forward and Mineski. Now, this game effectively now is a best of 1 between these two for a place in the bracket. Unbelievable from these two. Mineski have cut short a 6-game losing streak in this tournament as well.
Yeah, and you know what? I was looking at some numbers during the break, and in addition to knowing the cast range on Hex, shout out to you, Red. I think you actually might have had the key point in that last post-draft discussion. The Coddle pick, the Chen pick, sorry, by Mineski really threw things off, because if you look at both Mineski and Fnatic, okay, we talked about the fact that Mineski had only run Chen once in the last 11 months. They had only run Coddle once in the last 1.5 years as well. Okay. Those are heroes that are just not valued by SEA teams like they are in the other regions. AUI, when he's preparing for these drafts, is not looking at those heroes.
Yeah. I mean, eventually, at some point, Cap, in a tournament, you've got to kind of go, okay, look, we have to accept that what we're playing isn't now the meta.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I was looking at some heroes that are successful at this tournament that, you know, like you're talking about the greediness of OD and Spectre. Like, if you're running a Spectre, which not a whole lot of people are, but if you're running that kind of hero, like, what would you expect to see out of your kind of 2 position? You would expect to see some like really big space creator, right? But that wasn't the case here. Like, OD's, maybe he's a little lane dominant, maybe he has the right kind of matchup, but you know, he just doesn't really fulfill that same role that we're seeing from certain successful heroes at this tournament, like Razor, Leshrac, Ursa. Like, these kind of heroes, they come online in the mid game, they're very dominant, they just run around and do stuff, and maybe that's why they were picking up so much Juggernaut, because Juggernaut was that kind of hero. Even if it's fallen off in a little bit of favor, it's still that same type, right? But
still offers you a play style, doesn't it? Even if it's not, you know, successful right now.
Just to dovetail on what Cap said, to finish that point off there, one of the stats I look at is duration splits, record in matches that end by a certain time. If you look at OD, he has one of the more pronounced duration splits in this patch. He's 24 and 37, so well under 500 in games that end before 40 minutes. He's 21 and 12 in games that go past the 40-minute mark. So he's very much a late game hero in this patch, and exactly what I said, he's not the kind of guy that you want to create space for somebody else.
Yeah, that's a really good actually really appreciate that stat, because especially when they're playing against a Chen who's like, Kiro is insane right now with the way that he puts his Divine Favor on the siege creep, and the siege creep goes ham and kills a building in like 10 seconds or something. You know, it's like when EG, was it EG or was it Wings or somebody? EG was involved in the game somehow, where it was like the Brewmaster.
Oh, the Alacrity Earth
EG,
Panda?
Right?
Oh my god.
Yeah, where it was there Alacrity on the Panda.
EG.
Yeah, that like it's that, but a lighter version of it that just comes online super early, where this Chen just demolishes towers.
Yeah, changes as we move towards this the second game. I made the point that it's a best of one, Alan, effectively now. Forget about what happened in game one. They've both got to win this game and then they're through, and there's nothing else that either of them can do. Does that change their approach for game two, or can they still learn something from what they did in game one?
I think the biggest thing is they got us. You tip your cap. You say, look, we did not expect to have to worry about Coddle and Chen being contested against us against this particular opponent. But at the same time, that's an easy thing to adjust to, because you look at those are heroes that are very favored in your region. They're very favored by your own team. You're scrimming against them all the time. It's not something that you're going to get caught off guard against twice.
Okay. Ban one of them? I think just to stop them playing it, rather than to have to worry about what you're going to try and fix in a very short period of time.
Or just have a better plan to deal with it, I think.
But you've only got 10 minutes in between the two games. Is that enough?
Yeah, I think if you're second pick again, you ban the Chen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see if they do that. From the other side of the fence, Mineski come into this having tried something a little bit different, a little bit new. It's worked. It's paid off. Is that the light that goes on? Is it the light bulb that comes on? They go, we figured it out. We know what to do now.
We have to give everybody else a game and not just Moon. Yeah,
yeah.
That helps when it's a 5-man effort. Yeah, I think that Mineski, you know, the Chen looked good for them. Yeah. The Slardar for KP. There's just like so many things that it just felt like, right? if I'm playing, like, I'm not a safe laner, but I'm pretty sure like I could play that mid. You know, I could play that. Or no, I couldn't play that mid, but I could play that safe lane. I could play that off lane. I could play that, you know, that I could replace KP in like that sort of matchup. It's just very easy. So you start off with such an easy laning phase in that regard. The game's naturally just gonna flow better, right? It's like, it's that thing about overall with teams, like winning fixes everything. Like having a strong laning phase fixes a lot of things for your team, I think.
And it's we use the term catch on panels all the time, partly because it just sounds kind of sexy. But when you talk about like Disruptor being a hero that gives you catch, it gives you the ability when you're ahead to track down and get those extra kills. The combo of the Slardar and the PA, where you're always going to have haze and you're always going to be able to then blink on top of that target and Phantom Strike them down. When you're ahead, that just feels so powerful.
Yeah, their choices, their 4th and 5th pick for Mineski, I think really brought their drafts together. Because I think their initial 3 were really questionable. And I still kind of stand by that, but the way that they fixed it, like Kunkka is probably one of the best fixes you can have. Again, he's a core that offers you more catch than almost any other that I can really think of, especially out of the mid lane.
Do you think that was an adaptation along the way? They got to that 3rd and they kind of went, ooh, guys, we need something more here. We need some damage.
Yeah.
And, or was it actually a plan?
Especially in that situation, right? They're 4th picking their mid. Like they're tipping what their mid matchup is going to be pretty early and last picking an offlaner. I think it's maybe one of those situations where they think the hero is just too strong to let them go into that final 5th pick.
Okay, into the draft we go. The Chen is banned as we forecast forward, getting rid of that.
The Weaver ban is very interesting to me out of Mineski. That's not a hero that's
respect.
It's just not a hero. First of all, it's not a hero that's been contested a lot in this tournament. Second of all, it's one of the weaker heroes statistically in this patch. It's only 13 and 17 record-wise, but when you adjust that for elo, for strength of team, it's actually one of statistically the weakest heroes.
You know, I think I was watching some Forward replays before this tournament, and you know who I think it was Forward. They reminded me of the way Team NP played.
Very much.
NP's team,
very much.
Where it was like...
Well, MSS on both, right?
Yeah, and it was
SVG,
like
I think.
the single target focus with their cores. Like there was like... you didn't really want to move out a whole lot. You played very defensive. You protected your jungle rather than trying to invade so much. I don't know if that's what it is about Forward. It just kind of reminded me of some of those elements.
I think that's a very apt analogy, because the other commonality there is they were a team that would often look like if they lost their lanes, they'd kind of get a little lost in the mid game.
Yeah.
So first pick Tiny.
Yeah.
It's not surprising.
It's usually a Moon hero.
Well, that is back to the classic SEA meta where they will switch it up. They will run 4 and 5 position Tiny. Pylai Dai will play this hero.
Haven't done that in a while, though.
Oh, hey, they picked Leshrac.
Wow.
One of the 3, like, I was looking at some of their heroes. It's like people are playing on Monkey King, Ember Spirit. Yeah, those are your war heroes, but they're not picking a ton of them. They're picking lots of Dragonite, but like Razor, Leshrac, Ursa, like these are all popular dominant heroes in this current patch, and they're not really playing a whole lot of any of those.
Yeah, Yawar has Ursa in his top 8 most played over the last month, but that's it.
Really cool open, by the way. One of the things, this patch is really unusual in that the heroes, you're making a face.
Well,
because
the Sven's
right? Sven is 1-11 at this tournament. Okay. One of the weird things about this patch is that the 2 most picked hero duos in this patch are Lich Jug, no surprise, and Grimstroke Sven, and both of them have been bad.
Yeah.
And yet continue to pick. I actually really like this Leshrac Sven combo because this can be a dual lane. This can be both of them can be support or core. They can also lane together in either of those 2 roles.
It's very open for sure. The synergy of Sven protecting the Leshrac is nice. Sven as a core, or I think more likely a support. The matchup with Tiny is nice. It's just nice to be able to have a hero that can't be assassinated by a Tiny running around the map, right? So I like that part. I'm not a little bit questionable about an early pickup of the Leshrac, but as you said, it's flex enough that it doesn't really matter, right?
The big thing that we've seen from Secret is if you can run it in this 3 more of a space creator role, if you have a player like Zai that can play this in an off lane, that's where I think this hero is definitely first phase material. Fog made the point to me that the change to the level 1 edict damage is a lot more significant than I thought. That level 1 edict is now 11. It's 11, 22, 33, 44 in its scaling. That actually means it does 80 more damage total at level 1 and several hundred more as you get up into the higher skill levels.
Look, I'm the first one that says, oh, look, there's a really low win rate on a hero. But let's keep the context of it's a support hero, and therefore it's not always the dictating hero that wins the game. Therefore, its win rate is negligible and doesn't. But it's 8.3, Alan.
It's bad.
It's 8.3% of 13 games in Sven.
1-11. Stats don't lie. Mean all you want. But
who was the other team?
Is this finally, by the way, is this finally the game that we see Omni Knight? Omni Knight Sven, or could we see a Luna Sven again? A la CQ.
Yeah. Luna Sven happened at this tournament too.
Yep.
Is that the game that Sven won?
No.
Who won with Sven?
Aster won it. It was this weird game by Aster where it went late.
It had not won in Sven. 10 games, and then Aster played it.
Yeah.
And they won with it.
Listen, you talk about stats, right?
Yes.
Aster's win rate is pretty low, but they managed to win with the Sven. Surely that's got to offset the 8% win rate.
I'm not sure whether it offsets or it makes it worse.
If a bad team can win with a hero, surely that makes it a good hero, right?
What sort of next level arithmetic do you do over there?
I didn't go to college.
Okay, that makes sense.
He joined the Marines, baby.
I got Marine Corps math.
Yeah, I mean, it's as I said, like context is important for how poor Sven's been. But
look at these bans though by Mineski. They are really looking at melee cores here in the next phase. They are very worried about protecting, say, a Jug pick, protecting, say, a Kunkka pick, protecting, say, an Ember pick in that next phase of the draft.
Back to where they were before.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I like Jug against Sven as well as Leshrac.
I agree.
What are the other ones?
Ember
Spirit.
Ember Spirit and Kunkka are the other 2 I think about for sure. Dragonite is, of course, something you have to talk about.
It also protects their tiny mid option, right?
Yep, that's exactly.
We've seen a great deal of anti-mage this tournament, have we?
And they do that.
They do the
forward will take away the Jug, which I quite like. Look, Jug and Lesh between them, and Sven support with the sustain. If they have a good laning phase, the towers just melt.
Yeah, I mean, and then as I said earlier, this is Rezo's most played in 2019. Yep.
You gotta expect that Mineski is. They probably take their offlaner here, keep the Tiny a little bit more on the open. Although it is important, as you brought up earlier, that Mineski of the 2 teams from SEA is the one that's biased toward having Tiny as a core, where Fnatic is a little more biased toward Tiny support.
Have Mineski played any CK?
They not recently. It's not amongst.
Yeah, I don't see it anywhere on the list.
Nope, not in the last 2 patches.
Yeah, I was going to say not in 7.21 anyway.
Do you think offline CK could work here?
I know when I'm playing, I like the matchup against Jug. I don't like the the match against. I'm not sure how it goes against Leshrac, but I'm presuming you don't like Leshrac as fan.
Certainly not if it's a core matchup. I don't like him. I like that a lot better.
Nice.
Yep. And again, the thing about that pick is that we were talking about Mineski setting up for a big melee core.
Yeah.
This makes it all that more convincing to me that they're going to go with something like an Ember Spirit.
This is something that Febi's been running as well.
Yep.
Troll's good here as well for Mineski.
Oh, that's a good call.
Yeah,
That's a really good call. I still like a Luna here for forward. Nah, not with the Jug. No, take that.
I was about to say that's some real in July.
Yeah, that's too greedy.
I was watching Chinese. I was watching In July's stream. When I first came here, I was jet lagged. Don't ask me how I got there. I was looking for some. I was looking for FTD games.
Did you go? I was going to say, did you go down the rabbit hole of trying to find FTD stuff?
Yeah. I was watching In July. He was playing an off-lane Juggernaut with Radiance, Midas Radiance.
You needed a support here. So this looks like it's going to be. Oh, UR has run
Rubik. Yeah,
UR has run it
about
mid.
it. I was thinking about it.
But here's the thing. The other thing I'll add into that, Rubik 7 times in the last 2 patches for forward. They are 3-0 with UR Rubik mid. They're 0-4 with MSS support Rubik. I still think the money's on support Rubik, but it's an interesting split.
Yeah. MSS would be the Rubik.
How do I not mention PA?
PA, yeah, that was the obvious one I was going to bring up for Arjit.
Oh boy.
For Mineski.
When you're talking about big farming melee cores, especially after last game.
It's very strong versus Jug and Leshrac.
Yeah, I think I mentioned anti-mage. You mentioned Ember, and either side of that is PA in his most played.
Yeah. So what do we? The nice thing about this forward draft is that it's actually still pretty open.
Yeah, it's very open for them. Yeah, yeah, they could play the Rubik in the mid. They could play the Lesh as a support.
But it's funny, right? Because forwards draft is by far the most open of the two. But you have to look at this Mineski draft, and this is just so in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, and it's nice as well. I mean,
it's a good
Mag PA. Hello. Maiden Tiny, nice. How do they round it out? What do they round it out with? What do they need, actually? Looking at that, they're going to need an offlaner?
Probably.
Yeah,
Mag could easily be your
could
3.
Be KPs, but it's more likely to be Febi's.
Yeah.
Which would mean they run the Tiny as a core, which would be...
I think you're perfectly happy with that.
So, would it be okay, because it'd be a Moon Tiny, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I think
so an offlaner is more likely.
Is...
And they've banned the Slardar, so that would suggest they think it's an offlaner as well.
Right.
So let's see what Mineski ban out here. What are forward looking for? Well, we don't know, because they're all over the place.
Yeah, I still think forward are looking for their mid.
Either a lane dominant support or...
Yeah, Mineski.
So I think this is going to be the KP hero, and I wonder, you can't pick Enigma because they already have the Rubik on the board. The Brew, Doom,
I was going to say this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doom's in that, isn't it?
Are the next big 3 that
I'll tell you what is in there. It's the Naga. Oh, he's gone back for the Brew.
Yeah, the Brew is obviously his most played hero, 6-3 over the last 2 patches.
Right, so what do forward do then? Are they definitely searching for a mid, or are they going to go Rubik mid?
So what do you think, Cap? Do you want Lesh mid here against it's looking like Tiny? That seems.
I think there's better melee matchups.
Rubik against Tiny?
I'm not like crazy about either of those two.
Kunkka's still out there.
Okay,
Timber.
I like that so much better.
Yeah, I was going to say Timber is my second pickup because of the fact that he's matched up into a Tiny. So the laning phase matchup is good. You don't care about, well, it's not that you don't care about PA, but a lot of times you're good matched up against PA. And then you've got a strength offlaner as well.
Yeah, I think the best way for you to take advantage of the overall last pick there is to punish the Tiny mid, because once you saw all 5 picks from Fnatic, from Mineski, you pretty much know that it's going to be Moon Tiny mid. Yeah. So I think the Timber was a great pick there in terms of with Ursa Monkey King already off the board, you can then punish that with the Timber.
And you need to be able to attack that timing where you need to at least be able to fight during that timing where PA is going to be very strong. Like, you can't get run over like you did last game. You don't have to worry about a ton of scaling coming out of Mineski. So I think Timbersaw is just like a nice sort of mid-game hero looking at a strong laning phase. Yeah,
That said, I think I actually think these two drafts are pretty dead even. Who do you like?
I might like forward a little bit more, but it's not by much.
Yeah, I would have said coming into this series that with even drafts, I would favor forward. The first game has shaken my confidence in a little bit. I'm going to call this dead even. Flip a coin, baby. Let's go.
Okay. Well, our analysts think this is a coin flip between these two, and it certainly is in many ways more than one, because these two are going head-to-head for a place in the bracket stage, and it's all on the money. Let's go for game number 2.
It all comes down to this. That's my LD line, because you threw in one yesterday, so I felt like I had to get one out here again today. So it all comes down to this. One game between Mineski as well as forward. Kyle, please make sense of the draft for us, because the panel seems to think it's a 50-50 coin flip.
I think the panel's wrong, personally, but I've been wrong
I
a lot in my life as well.
am surprised. I am shocked. I am horrified.
The same way Mineski had a big advantage last game, forward's got a huge advantage in this game for the same reasons, because their draft is just so much easier to execute. Think about Mineski. Last pick Brew into Rubik, Lesh, Jug.
Yeah.
And it's your offlaner. Like, you're banking on having a massive lane advantage, but your war's on an uncountered Timbersaw. And the forward lineup will hit a point at 10-15 minutes where you can't kill anyone. You're going to have a Jug in one lane, a Timber in the other, and Universe now, instead of being on some Night Stalker, which is only effective half the game and can't hit buildings, it's Lesh. We've seen Zai just dominate with this hero, and I think Universe is perfectly capable of doing the same.
Yep, and we have to see how Ford are actually going to execute this. Same kind of storyline as game one. It's like, okay, well, the draft looks absolutely fantastic, but what can they do with it? Can they actually aggressively move forward? Because if they don't, then you've got Phantom Assassin who can get completely out of control when buffed up by this Magnus. And that's where I wonder how things move forward. Because if forward don't break the base, they're going up against potential big RP, heavy crits with a lot of split, the chaos of the Brewmaster, and the stun control and repositioning that comes in from the Tiny. But they'll battle for the top rune, already up. Pylai die, low on life. That was the message that AUI gave his players, and they're able to do so. Universe, he's low on life as well, however. Ajit and Febi teaming up together, so Febi will find that kill. A 1-for-1 trade-off for that bounty rune, and it's a 2-for-2 trade-off in the bounties themselves.
Yeah, you take that if you're Universe, though. You are totally cool with that little bit of extra gold infusion. And I feel like top lane, Lesh Sven versus PA Mag, you can just output so much pressure. If you're going to win this game as Mineski, you're going to have to outlane and just have incredibly strong rotations the entire time, because otherwise the forward lineup just has such an easier time.
They're focusing Universe. They do not want to let Universe have any space. A double skewer pulling Universe and SVG back, but a double stun from Universe creates more space, and from SVG. Teaming it together when Pylai and Ajit stand so close, they brush shoulders.
I'm curious to see if they'll actually bring Rubik up top. I think MSS will want to rotate once he gives his Jug a little bit of an advantage. We see NIP do this a lot, where PPD will sit bottom in this dual lane, give his carry a bit of an advantage, and then switch to a tri lane with a level advantage. And you always will have, like, it's a triple stun lane once the Rubik arrives. That is a hell of a kill combo. Anytime CM steps out of position, Pylai he dies immediately. 277 move speed, 500 HP, that's not going to cut it.
Yeah, that's why Pylai's already back doing a pull. But it's just fun to see this support Magnus, so no shockwave kind of thing. It was the skewer. Catching up the double two definitely made the point seem worth it. But how is Magnus meant to have an influence on this lane? As you said, is a very potentially easy kill lane.
It's difficult. The skewers are key. If you can skewer somebody to high ground, that's nice. Skewer back defensively, maybe for a bit of peel. But man, this is one of the reasons I just love this Lesh hero. Like, compare it to the Night Stalker, right? Give them the same amount of net worth. Maybe upgraded boots plus that one next item, right? Lesh, think about the damage output. Not to mention that it's AoE, that it can be dealt to structures, that he has a AoE stun. It's just that this hero does more with the same amount of gold. And you can even see right here, level 1 Impale,
These chain stuns.
Come on.
Turns on the Edict, has all the damage in the world, and No chance to actually get the skewer off.
Yep. And I know it was the Edict was buffed pretty significantly. The damage increase was up 2, 4, 6, 8 per explosion. So level 1, you're talking about 40 times 11. It's 440 damage on a level 1 ability that does physical damage. Not to mention the stun for 80 mana, man. This hero was buffed. I can't believe it took so long for this to become meta, but my favorite hero is Lesh, okay? I'm sad I'm not playing solely because I could pick this hero first every game.
Come on, Kyle. Come on, Kyle. Let's not get into that mentality. I don't want to lose another co-caster.
You can see the way they're laning as well. Brew, 3-0, Jug, 15-7. At a point, MSS is going to ditch, rotate, or smoke top, find a kill, and then they're going to sit there in a tri-lane. He'd love to be able to kill the Brew first, but KP, playing defensively, he understands if he gets lifted, he could be in trouble. Febby places a deep ward to sniff out that TP ward to come into the shrine from MSS, but what else does he do? As you said, what does a mag do in this tri-lane?
Apart from leech experience, like, he might be able to create a little bit of space as PA getting double stunned up. And she'll be fine. That's just more stick charges at the end of the day. Bottom lane, however, KP not so fine. Able to get the clamp off, trying to get a little bit of space between himself and Resolution. And KP has at least managed to find 3 levels on this bottom lane.
And mid is a bit of a trade. You know, Nana out denying, out CSing a little bit, but it all changes once Timber gets a little more level.
But Ajit's just really trying to stay in this
and
in this lane.
Lesh 80 mana stuns. He can just spam these, and God forbid he actually catches one with Ajit having no location to leap out to. Level 2 Edict, 40 times 22 damage output, 880. He's level 3.
Yep. This is just OS Frog, quite simply. I am watching Febby doing a triple stack inside the jungle, so these early points up and in power do just help. Like, well, it's now going to give Tiny a little bit of extra buff up, but it's the money injection that can come from Mineski a little bit later on. Right now, yeah, forward, they are leading as far as the net worth goes, up around 700, even with the experience, so things are going their way, but still don't want to think that you've got a guaranteed victory here.
Of course not. And that is the power of the mag combo. It's why they are confident just 3rd, 4thing that mag PA, because
they're going down towards MSS. Febby has skewer available. He jumps up, but then MSS picks him mid-skewer. It was going through Resolution, and Febby, yeah, he's dead. Resolution spin damage should be more than enough. No regeneration from Tango just yet. He'll make a break with the tree line. Fade Bolt, there's mana if he wants to trigger the Mango, which MSS does, ensures the kill.
It does buy space for KP to go grab those runes, but I'm just afraid for this Brew, man. He's got less net worth than the SVG 5-position Sven, and if you look at him, he's got 420 gold and a Ring of Protection. That's all he's got in addition to his starting items. He's just been funneling out regen because the MSS and Resolution harass is too strong.
This is not where he wants to be.
Indeed.
That's exactly where forward want to be. Resolution just able to continuously farm up. Okay, I was thinking for a moment with Moon getting a toss. I guess I've been waiting for the toss back into Crystal Maiden Frostbite control, but does that even work against the Timber? Sorry, it looks like an ungankable lane. Maybe when Febby's able to skewer him deeper underneath the tier 1 tower, then you'd have a chance.
The problem is these towers just don't do enough damage to Timber. You look at him, even with just the 18 stacks, he's got 22 armor and 25 health regen. How are you, like, what are you supposed to do? He tosses him for some CS, but that's it.
Yeah. Paladai was able to take the illusion rune out, but that's going to be bottle charges for Moon. While up on top, the Storm Bolt, follow-up stun, turn on the level 2 Edict, and there was one range creep just far enough up. And Ajit had himself an escape mechanism, but now the rotation's coming from Mineski. Paladai and Febby, they're headed to the south.
Yeah, I don't really like the decision from Zai to, or sorry, this isn't Zai, it's Universe. He's not going the Zai build, and instead going to be rushing drums instead of Atos. This is such a sick Atos value game against PA and Mag. You disable their ability to leap out or skewer, and it's just so much, it's so stat efficient after the changes where it now takes double crown. You just get so much raw HP from an item that also provides a ton of utility.
Is Universe actually killing off Ajit on top lane? With the Edict damage, he has to burn the 1 charges. And, okay, Creep Wave comes in range so we can Phantom Strike away, but it's the bottom lane where they are starting to do the prep as well. But Febby can never get to the southern side of any hero and just drag him back with the skewer.
Yeah, we've seen when GH plays this hero specifically, he's got to get so creative to make things happen.
Resolution's already used his spin. He'll go into the Omni Slash, tanked up by KP and Pie. They're sticking together. MSS done a lot of work already, but he hasn't found that kill. Pie stays up long enough. And get the Frost Blast off and they'll start to retreat, but Resolution will repair the damage with the Healing Ward.
Nice scan as well from MSS, just in case. You saw Moon had rotated to look for bottom rune, where it's still there. He scans to ensure he's not coming around and backs off wisely towards the tower. Just good awareness on the map where that enemy mid player could be. SVG in a little bit of trouble up top, but again, what does Febby do with level 2 in power?
He skewers and actually helps SVG moving it a little bit further away. And it's just more amplifying up for the Phantom Assassin. Get it to 6 and get that stack farmed. They need to get that stack farmed. Okay, rune battle and then it's a regen that spawns bottom.
It's just a concern because you're in that scenario where it feels like, yeah, you're out CSing mid, but as the game progresses, Timber just becomes more valuable than Tiny. So it feels like Forward's winning every lane. But more importantly, you shut down the CM Mag's ability to dual roam. You can't do anything to a Jug. We already witnessed what happens if we try to go for Rezo. Up top, it's an SVG Sven and a Leshrac. Especially now the Universe is approaching level 6. In fact, he is. With drums, he'll kill everyone on your team if you don't bring Moon's Tiny there to get the combo off. And it's just a little too early for that Tiny to start rotating.
Well, he's already down here. Brewmaster doesn't have the 6, so no ultimate. He's looking for some kind of combination. There's the Avalanche. The toss only goes up into the air. MSS, they actually kill the Radiant Courier with a cleave out. KP wants to find the kill, but he can't close the distance on MSS. And Resolution will create more space into the spin. But Moon, if he can get vision on MSS, he can actually just toss and kill him off, but the vision will not be there. MSS hugging the fog of war.
Yeah, well played. And you can see the difficulty. And that rotation wastes a lot of Moon's time. He's the one accelerating. He's the one ahead in net worth, though he now falls behind the PA because of that movement.
Febby, he's being dived, and here you go. Pulse Nova on. Febby uses his stick charges, but he is totally dead. And this is happening while PA went off to do the stack farming. So she
killed the tower too. That's why this hero is so good, Toby. You can't leave the Leshrac lane and expect a support to be able to hold it because he'll just dive and the tower goes down as well. KP?
He'll be fine. TP's out. There was no mana for an Omni Slash either. Could have stick charge and potentially got it, but Yuar. So this is the kind of the awesome thing. Like Yuar's been sitting underneath this tier 1 tower for the last maybe 1 to 2 minutes. And if Leshrac just walks up behind, you take the tower.
Yeah, and it provides so much information. It's an easier game for Forward to play because it's not just that they're winning lanes, it's that they have heroes that scale and they're able to sit in those lanes.
He just wanted to be here for the 10-minute bounty runes, and he's going to be here to give away his life, tossing away Universe. That puts Universe in a position to kill a Fajit.
He did not have enough mana to continue chasing, and his Edict was down. So it was a good decision there not to continue. And I like it. Okay, he's going drums into Atos on the Leshrac. So the raw stats, just unbelievable. It will slow down his farming a bit. You typically see Zai pick up Arcanes earlier, but I don't mind this just because he's against so much burst damage on the enemy side. And it's not as if he needs to be... He can play this 3-roll. You can trust a Jug and a Timber are going to provide plenty of damage and scaling power as the game progresses. And yeah, Brew's level 6, he's finally online, but again, look at his net worth.
Copping a Stormbolt inside the mid. Moon, what can he really give? Doesn't want to have to throw out the Avalanche, but he has no other choice just to damage Yuar and SVG, but Resolution was mid-spin, so they still feel confident to fight while on bottom lane. MSS underneath the tower. The Brew split from KP finds the kill over on the Rubik. Universe will TP in as well. KP wants to keep the harass going, send him up and towards the air, but there's more TPs on the way. They have to retreat while mid lane just continues the pressure. So it's SVG and Universe to defend the bottom lane.
You see the circle Rezo just drew? He's like, this is my space now, folks. I'm Juggernaut. This is how you want to be playing these really versatile mobile carries. Weaver, PL, Jug, Lifestealer. Sit in the aggressive lane and apply pressure. This allows Yuar to just stay in center field, keep shoving down mid. Maybe he dies once in a while because they're going to rotate around with 5, but he just provides so much info. And the only way you're going to kill Jug is if you have an RP there to cancel his spin TP. If he sees Mag anywhere else on the map, like right now, as he's standing on the ward, demonstrating that he's just holding PA's hand to farm some creeps, Rezo knows that he has no fear whatsoever. He can continue to play aggressive.
I'm kind of liking the build though from PA, understanding that combat needs to happen faster, so straight into Desolator. Probably one of the very few times we haven't seen PA just go Battle Fury, but it understands the tempo of this game.
I think Vlad's first would have been nice because none of the other heroes on his team are in a position they could buy one.
The blur, it broke. That actually told him that Yuar and MSS were coming over for a kill.
and 4K advantage for Forward. It feels very similar to the previous game where the team that's ahead just kind of bullies the opposition and continues to get more and more ahead. And same exact scenario, 5K advantage at 12 minutes. Once again, Forward, they can do Roche relatively quickly and they won't take damage. So if they can continue this aggression, at some point they'll be able to pick that up and then look to move towards these tier 2s.
Oh, they keep going, maybe on bottom lane. The creep wave's coming in. They're trying to take the stack of Mineski.
Top lane.
Yeah, Rubik TP's up. He's got the Drunken Brawler stolen currently. Moon goes for a quick toss, but Juggernaut, 16-1 chance will give him enough for an Omni Slash. But Moon, he'll have to stay with the creep wave if he wants to try and dodge this, but he's isolating up, fortifications up, and Moon, one more. No, he'll toss him back. The distance is created. Quick bottle charges combining with the wands, but they'll finally pick him up. And Omni Slash committal. He may be regretting that now that Ajit will arrive. MSS is one stifling dagger away from death, and there she is, even with the crit.
But look,
Resolution has the movement speed, but yeah, as you said, Universe is just pressuring bottom lane.
And this is always, again, it's just the meta. When one team reaches a point that they always win in an engagement of equal footing, you can so easily pressure two lanes, because in order to stop said pressure, you need to bring more heroes than the team that's leading. And you just can't do that in two places at once. Sure, you get the kill on Rubik, but your mid player died, and you had 3 untouchable heroes shoving down a tier 2. All of a sudden, map is blown wide open, and now all Forward have to do is execute. And sure, you can't take a huge fight into a bad RP. Mineski, they still have the ability to turn this around, but it's going to require poor positioning from Forward. They've got to capitalize on a mistake, because if you don't land some sort of 2 or 3 man RP with a Brewmaster split on top, where's your damage come from?
And both of these are difficult to get into position. The Blink Dagger is in the quick buy for Febby, but this is a long, long way off, and Forward are not going to give them the space. They're already smoking up aggressively forward. Pylite Eyes can be the one to be scouted out. He'll be hit by the Storm Bolt. Febby skewering forward. That almost gets him in range of the RP, but the stun eclipses him on the way through, so there's no instant fault. KP will get the split off, and Yawar just taking out the Magnus and the CM. Universe, he's taking a lot of damage himself, however, with Moon coming in close. Universe will finally pop down. A double Storm Bolt, creating more space, and Yawar's back in. The RP from Febby, but it's stolen by MSS. He's trying to line up a couple of players. Ajit's the only one who's nearby. That may just be worth it. Yawar, okay, they've got the distance. They need the slow, however. Ajit on the run out. Resolution right behind the phase boost, get the movement speed. A quick Phantom Strike back underneath the tier 2 tower.
I think you take this tier 2, and then now that you have RP, and there's no Brew Split or RP on the enemy side, you can just walk into the Roche pit directly after this tower falls. Universe did go down. He was a fraction of a second from getting a stun off that would have potentially just ended that engagement with Forward leading a route. And look at the warding as well. 5 aggressive wards placed by this Radiant side, and they're now going to collect 4 bounty runes. That 5K lead just became 7. It's only 15 minutes into the game, and they have utter map dominance in addition to this massive net worth lead. Mineski, you've got to not do that.
Yeah, walk underneath the Observer Ward. Moon couldn't afford to die. It's such a huge death for him. He's so close to his Blink Dagger. So he moves backwards with money. Not to mention, no farm time available and no space with the Phantom Assassin. The glass cannon style build from this PA. She has no other choice but to run.
I really can't stress enough how much more I like this Forward lineup. Instead of, like, MSS, one of the best playmakers in North America, goes from Coddle, which is effectively just a creep wave bot waiting to cast his ultimate, to a Rubik, one of his signatures that he just doesn't get a chance to play anymore. Rezo, instead of being on the Midas no-boots Spectre, can just play aggro with this Drums Yasha build on Jug. And Universe is on Lesh. This is the best offlaner in the patch, let's be real. And yeah, it's just better. All these heroes can do things, Toby, and they can do things right away.
And Universe doesn't want to delay. Like, he's looking towards the top lane. SVG walked in. They didn't keep the pressure up. Bottom lane was being attacked, that's why Yawar TP down, but he's already walking around with a Holy Locket, got it very early on, and is on his way towards picking up a Greaves on the Timbersaw. Those 2 kills obviously help him along the way he got previously. He's actually got 4-0-1 on the Timber. And they're hunting for more kills. In towards the mid. Resolution will start this. Phantom Assassin's waiting by. She is ready to fight with the Empower buff up. The Rod of Atos onto KP. KP has to go into the split. They need a target. SVG is the only one really presenting himself. It's not really the one they want. They want something else. So a disengage after having that Brewmaster split being wasted is the greatest thing that Forward could have had.
Doesn't it feel like the same game?
It
Forward
really does.
this time are the ones with the cheap spells. You have to split there, because once you catch the Aegis, there's a stun combo coming that's going to take you down from 100 to 0. It's a no-win scenario for KP if Forward continue to play this way. They're the ones that can bait out big spells, and they're the ones that can just play this game faster.
And they'll keep going. Moon's trying to get something back off the bottom lane, but Fortification even stops the toss doing damage, and triple TPs. He has the Blink Dagger, however, so nice play to run into the trees and then blink away, but Yoa, he's the tree master. Finds Moon, now the Rod of Atos. The control is too good, even with the Avalanche, they break free and will bring down this Tiny. Is there any level of space that gets created? The Phantom Assassin is still finding some money moving towards that BKB.
It's going to be him versus the world. Now, it is Mag PA. The benefit to the Mineski lineup is that currently they're still just that one fight away from equalizing the game. And it really only takes one big stun combo. One RP into a couple of crits, you could just melt down 3 heroes. It's all on Yawar and SVG. They want to be the bruisers, prevent the enemy side from gaining access to their squishier intelligence heroes, the Lesh, the Rubik.
That was a little too easy of a kill for Universe. Hopefully what we're seeing on our screen as well is not what you're getting on stream, but don't worry. We haven't regressed to auto chess just yet. This is more trouble for KP. No Brewmaster split available. SVG and Yawar staying right behind him as KP continues his run, but it's so difficult to do. Cannot have any movement speed. They're just so fast on forward side. And 30 seconds without the Brewmaster, Forward Gaming will now look to come into the high ground and take out that tier 3 tower. The Avalanche can at least clean out the wave. So it's difficult for Forward to at least keep a front line of units in front.
Yeah, their next play is still, they really want to look to try and do Roshan. It's the move they'd like to make. The way they've itemized, you know, Universe still without Arcanes, going BKB next after all those build-up items. Yawar with the Holy Locket, Rezo, Sanj, and Yasha. They aren't going to accelerate as fast as we saw Mineski do in that previous game, but they do still have that same critical advantage. It's just all about capitalizing on it. Continue to control the map, continue to push 2 waves at least, although now, of course, they have the 3, and look to do Roshan, perhaps go high ground. And it's an easier game for them as well, because you just have to keep tabs. There's no blink on Brew, so you can just throw out these cheap stuns, force the split, kite back. Febby doesn't have that blink yet either.
I caught out once again by the Rod of Atos. Pick him up and throw him down, but where's the fall? He gets a Frostbite out and Sven, but he's just caught outside the base. Resolution gets the kill with the crit.
Might look to push mid here. They know, they're seeing Febby push top. They know he doesn't have a blink dagger yet. That's the only thing they're really afraid of. That'll change the status quo a little. Mineski suddenly would get that win condition.
KP, now it's this turn. Frostbolt, the Stormbolt in. KP, he's got Brewmaster split available. Really does not want to have to commit it for this. It's better just to die. At this point, let Moon do the push on bottom lane. Keep the creep wave out. They're not going to get to control the 20-minute bounty runes, but Ajit will get closer and closer to that BKB, and maybe then they can fight.
The timely DD rune outside the Roche pit. I don't agree with Nahaz on pretty much anything, but DD shouldn't be as effective on Roche as it is right now. It's something he's been harping about for a couple of years, and I can't agree with him because it's a bit silly that it just leads to this objective. And this time, yeah, sure, Forward have total map control, but there's been a lot of times where this just gives a team this free increase of like 30% to your win probability because you're able to do this 5 or 10 minutes earlier than you should just because of a bit of a lucky spree.
They are going to take this Roshan. Nothing that Mineski can do to stop it. There's no threat from Febby. I'm also looking at Febby. He's got the money for the Blink Dagger. Okay, now he's spending it. I'm like, there's no way he saves for buyback. They need that big RP. They need that control factor. And bide the time for Ajit to use this BKB to get a good fight going their way.
Yeah, Uni, a bit awkward. Like, did a couple things this game. Not a fan of on Lesh. Like, skilling up his ultimate does double the mana per second. It costs double the mana per second. It's only an increase of 40% of the damage. He might have the mana pool for it, but with no arcanes, like he can't farm with it like he is now. And Ghost Scepter, instead of just rushing the Sanj Kaya. Like, you already have so much armor on Lesh, 16 thanks to the +5 talent. Just don't think you want to itemize for active defensive items. Just tank up.
God, they got the Rod of Atos off. Moon can't complete his TP out. Universe, even if you whiff the stun, it won't matter. Moon He just can't tank through this, but there may be an opportunity the other way around. RP does come out. Sven's already gone down, and the Omnislash from Resolution, it did some good work, but now here you go, the stolen RP from MSS, holding PA position. The skewer needs to create a little bit more space for the PA to back up and out of this one. Without the BKB, she doesn't have the strength to fight, but Pylite die, letting it go. He will be storm-bottled down, but the kill's already happened. MSS to fall, but RP is gone. Juggernaut's on the run with a spin to protect him, and a Rod of Atos, Pylite die. At least Latrak was up and towards the air, so there's no instant follow-up from this, but it won't matter when Resolution's on his tail.
It was really well played from Rezo. He actually Omni-slashed the RP. That shut that down. Now you know there's no split, and you're in that same position where forward, they can march high ground, and they don't take damage, because Timber just tanks the tower. You have Leshrac. There is a glyph available, so they'll get that first Diabolic Edict, but what now? You need a massive skewer. You have no BKB on PA.
It's going to be rough no matter what. They need some lucky crits to come in from Phantom Assassin. 13 seconds before that BKB is off for the Brewmaster. Already rooted up. There's your first stun. Yoan doesn't have a lot of mana to follow this up, however. Yeah, actually, no, he does. He's got Soaring and 21 coming. That's a Blink Skewer underneath the tier 4 towers. Universe and Resolution kind of locked in. Universe, they're going to toss back in an extra one, and now it's up to the damage of the Phantom Assassin. Who can he find? Is there another stun available? They have him available. SVG, it's a dieback from him and Yoan. Sort of isolated the Timber chain. It doesn't connect. It won't get him outside the base. Latrak's buying back, but they just toss him around, and the dead corpse of Yoan will fall down. Yeah, it's Pylite Die who takes the winning streak for it, but they keep their mid-racks alive. The melee was so low, but Mineski, repel forward gaming.
They didn't have MSS, Toby. That was... it's like, if you're going to make that play, it's fine, but you can't be in a position to get double skewered. You know, you got to keep the happy feet, Universe. Got to watch some more Super Smash. Move. The only way that this goes wrong for you is if you get tossed or skewered back in a tower. But, you know, credit to Mineski. They recognize that's the only thing they had to actually save that Rax, were these repositioning tools to take the team that's got this big advantage and place them in a spot where no one can succeed underneath their own tier 4s. And they've equalized.
So this is what we just need. When you push Mineski to a limit where you have no massive ability to use your small ones to get the fight. That's it. Obviously, this is only step 1 of their comeback plan.
They still have Aegis on the side of up forward. I think you could still consider just making moves here. You got Greaves finished on the Timber as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling good if I'm Uni in my side. But again, I look at the itemization. I feel Uni had the gold right now to have a completed BKB or a completed Sanj Kaya, both of which would have probably been the difference maker in that engagement. Would have kept him alive to finish the Rax. And Mineski feels confident.
Well, they have RP back up. The Blink Dagger's on cooldown for just a small moment. And, well, they have vision up the hill, but there's no one else around, so they don't have a target of forward gaming to go on, but they can still take out the tier 1 tower. They can start to actually claim some map control, but look what forward's like answer back is. They smoke up, they push up mid with this Ven, get as much information as they can around their own observer ward, hilariously enough, but they want the mid racks. The melee is still regenerating, it's still within striking range if they can get it, but with no one defending the top lane, Mineski will be a little concerned about that other plan of forward.
There, really just a tight game. We already know how it'll go down. If you're forward, you want long drawn-out engagements. If you're Mineski, it's just, you don't want to go for Timber, but you gotta look to find a multi-man RP.
Well, Pylite Eye will be the easier kill, left behind by the rest of his team. Everyone just wants to run away from Mineski. Observer ward, so no ability juke inside the Fog of War for Pylite Eye. And it's just full on defense. Moon's got some good creep waves to mop up in mid. The Basher will arrive for the Phantom Assassin.
We got to keep in mind, though, there is an MSS Rubik in this game. You got to be cautious if you're Febby. You've had RP stolen from you twice already. If it happens again, that could be game-changing because your PA's BKB window is really the only thing he's got to ensure he can get that damage out that your team desperately needs. If he blinks in BKBs and gets counter RP'd, like that's just it. You're gonna get Omni slashed.
That observer could be great. Moon's trying to creep skip it out, but everyone's there. He'll get the toss off, and the RP from Febby catching 2. Actually trying to get to the back lines, finding a kill. He wants Universe, he wants Latrak. KP will finally go into the split. A skewer over, but Yoan isolated on the far eastern side. Maybe they can find this kill while KP is the chaos factor. He timber chains up and then instantly tossed back down by the Tiny. Say goodbye to 1 into the Omni slash, but KP Brewlings. They're starting to take up, and KP dragged to the side with the Unbrewling Pilot. Die can let it go. This is Frozen number 2. Universe, he doesn't have the life to sustain through this one. The toss from Moon will put him down. And Forward Gaming, they don't have enough fight left with no Omni Slash. This Juggernaut doesn't have enough to give, and it's just Moon rampaging forward. He's making the targets for them. Febby is there with the skewer available too. With a shockwave, they're going to drag back MSS and bring him down. Moon will have himself a double kill, and Yawar, does he actually have enough? They're looking to kill off this Ven, but with the Frostbite from Pylai Dai, they can keep the Tiposaur in place. Okay, they're buying back. They're all TPing the Tier 1 towers. They're trying to use the money, but without the stacks, he doesn't have the regeneration. That's why he's so low, but Moon inside the Sharkram can't keep the run going. Phantom Assassin so low, she'll end up going down. Is there a buyback to come out from her? SVG so low, so is Yawar. Moon trying to get the tosses out, but Yawar's got the double kill, throwing out the Sharkram through the tree lines. They'll reveal Pylai Dai, who will go down. An instant buyback out from him. No RP available, but Forward Gaming using the power of money and money to get back into the game with the buyback on both the Rubik and the Timber. Oh
my God, so many. There were 7 buybacks in that engagement.
There's a lot.
Another skewer.
Febby gets it without the RP. The clap will come out, but Resolution, he's already TPing away.
The bash.
It was the bash. He actually cancels it and then crits him down as well. Resolution is gone. They only get the stun, almost the avalanche on Sven. He'll complete the TP away to safety. MSS and Yawar, they're on the run. KP's catching up pretty quickly. MSS has Blink Dagger available. He'll go into the pit and then use it to get out to the side. Roshan is not available. He may respawn in just under a minute. But Mineski now finally they can start taking out other towers. The remaining Tier 1 tower that's still up in mid.
Those big plays. Once again, that huge skewer, man. What an ult from Pylai Dai as well. You can see the Ghost Scepter of Uni, it gets popped, but it's actually just not helping him. He's taking more damage from this massive CM ult than the toss to finish. What a crazy engagement. It all starts because that RP came off. MSS was still lagging behind the engagement. Even if he blinked in, he would not have been able to find RP in time. And yeah, it feels like they're just a little overeager. They've got to be more careful with their execution. See the replay coming out, just an easy Nova into skewer.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
I love how you say it's an easy Nova to skewer. It's meant to be an easy RP and then the follow-up. But man, also giving more props to Moon. Ooh. He is getting all over these fights and always ensuring that Mineski have another target to go to. It's not just that initial jump. It's not just finding that one kill, because that's kind of all they're getting. Even with the RP, they're only able to focus down one player. They instantly find a second because Moon's setting it up.
You can see the itemization from Forward. Yeah, they were ahead, but because they went for more of these mid-game engagements, more about shifting the balance of power into their favor in the moment instead of investing for their later game, you don't have that big advantage you would expect on the individual core-to-core matchups. Yawar is just barely ahead of Moon. Rezo and PA are effectively neck and neck at this point because PA just hit level 20. So I don't care what hero you are. I don't care that you have MKB on Juggernaut. This is go time, and there's a DD. And it's bottled.
Yeah, Moon actually gave him his bottle so he can get the charges back up, but now you also can just save this for when you need it, for the right time. Roshan will respawn in 1 minute 38. He can hold this, but they still need the fight before they can take Roshan. It's so risky to go in, right?
Perfect timing to smoke, though. You've got DD, you've got Vision now, you saw Universe. This is Dota 2. Game's pretty even. Get a slight advantage and go for it.
They are walking out of the Observer Ward. Sven's gonna be the first one. Blink forward. Phantom Assassin just destroys him. That double damage rune meant that there was only 3 hits to kill off Sven. That was 2 KHP you went through. They look towards Roshan, but he's a late spawn for them. 1 minute and 10 seconds still left on the spawn time, but they come back out
still
again.
Have DD.
A healing ward, sure, you'll kill that.
They're looking for a toss back here. Moon's gonna go for it.
He's a good one. But the creep waves all
just
there.
Kill him.
Jump in, toss him up. Ghost Scepter won't protect you from Moon's damage. It'll protect you from the Phantom Assassin.
They're still playing around an objective that doesn't exist. Roshan is still dead. Don't know exactly where he is, but he's going to be late to this party. Everyone will respawn by the time this DD runs out. And Roche actually does come up. It's cool. The Moon, again, pressuring bottom, recognizes, look, we don't have this objective. Let's use this time to get Creep-Equilibrium going in our favor. And eventually, we'll be able to fight. Look at Febby just sitting in the Roche pit. He's shadow amuleted.
Yeah, I actually was kind of wondering, like, if he moves up near his Dire Observer and Sentry, he's like, well, I can stay here in even a better position. They're going to drop the Sentry now, so this vision from Mineski will disappear.
But not the one mid lane. Love that. This is one of my favorite Roche wards from Dire. I love that Pi put this down because it very rarely gets countered. You're going to look and place the Sentry around that hill, sure, but he has total vision now. He recognizes that forward is around the Roche pit. That means Moon is safe bottom, and he has time to game plan. How do we want to move around? How do we actually take this engagement? I do believe they'll have a smoke ready. They do have 2 smokes, actually. And a Shadow Blade complete? No, he's bringing the Shadow Blade to Febby.
There's a Shadow Blade on bottom lane from Moon trying to battle against Universe. Keep him down the bottom lane. Don't let him just TP back out.
They had a ward on that smoke. Mineski did. They know this is coming. You've got to take a creative angle or forward will be prepared. They're going to counter smoke.
Yeah, they are.
A lot of pressure on MSS to get the RP.
They need to hold a nice line. They're on top of the ramp for the moment, but Mineski's line wanted to wrap around behind on the stairwell, so everyone moves in, everyone sees everyone, and everyone just backs up. So a lot of pressure, but no horrible choke points to either side.
Every time the game gets to this point, I just think, you know the Hatfields and the McCoys, the 2 families that hate each other, and they just yell over the fence that divides the property line?
Yeah, I thought there was a Capulet and Montague.
It's more of like a ignore assassination versus like a family feud. Now, Rezo's in the pit. He won't take damage, but...
Look at the entire Courier's position. It's giving them exactly the information they need without it actually being visible. So, like, Resolution actually can't see this for the moment. It just sits up on the hill, and they're waiting for the right time to get the jump in. See how low Roshan is. They have Abyssal Blade ready to go on that Phantom Assassin. They want a good jump, and Resolution has done most of the work. Yeah, Blink, skewer, that'll do the work.
Yeah, wait for a bash and go for it.
Yep, and then let Phantom Assassin jump in and finish the job. MSS is waiting with his own Blink Dagger. Now comes Yuan. He'll come down. Roshan, 700 HP. It's going to be go time. Jump in. The RP. It'll begin.
He didn't get it.
On Juggernaut, and they instantly kill him off. Roshan still needs to be killed off. Ajit, he'll finish the job getting both Aegis and Cheese. Now it's fight time. It's go time for Mineski. MSS, he wanted to be there to help out, but all he did was die. 2 heroes there with no buybacks available. The next target's being presented by KP. The easy stun from the Earth Bruling. 3 heroes from forward down without buyback available. Why do I feel like they just did all the hard work for Mineski?
What a we gotta give him credit for that. The Courier in that perfect position where it doesn't die, and yet it's a ward. It's a living ward.
Yep.
And Mineski just have 15 seconds to game plan. You know, you don't need Tony Roma to draw up the right play if you can just sit there in your timeout waiting. And you can see Febby immediately, RP, immediate shockwave. Yeah, MSS was ready, but Febby was a bit more ready considering he was just sitting there waiting for, as you said, Rezo to do all the heavy lifting.
Like, where's your flying vision? Where's your cleave? Like, a Juggernaut with no battle fury. Like, Sven not in the pit either being involved. The trees, like, not even being cut down or checked out, like, because there's no Monkey King in this game. Everything just kind of plays into the hands of Mineski for that Courier play to work perfectly. And now they're going to get not only 1, but they get 2 lanes of racks forward. They would love to get something in return. Phantom Assassin, if they can break the Aegis, that'll be nice, but they're not even going to get that. A jump away, and Mineski are in retreat.
And I still feel like forward had the better draft. But that all goes out the window once you're this late game against MagPA.
Here we go again. That vision from the Courier.
Watch how fast Febby shockwaves after this RP. I'm thinking skewer, but in reality, as long as you can ensure that it's not stolen, it's arguably always better to just get the kill on Jug. There's no combo break. There's no real save on forward. Their only real counter initiation is for a stolen RP to turn the tide. And if Febby denies that, what do you do other than flee?
Flee is it, but they can't even do that. Mineski just chased down after him.
They're just playing better Dota, Tobes.
They really are. That execution percentage. Draft is nice for a percentage, but execution percentage is always what gives analysts the horrible prediction nerves. Febby wants to go for another jump. And forward, they're all grouped up, ready for a fight, but is this still something they want to have? You look at the buybacks, only Leshrac has his available. Rubik will have his actually off cooldown in just a second, thanks to the income.
And I again point to just certain inefficiencies in the way forward itemized and skilled. Even, you know, when I watch Zai play this, if I'm playing Lesh, you know, you get arcanes at some point on this Leshrac. It doesn't change the game at like this point, but it's more that he has less net worth because this entire game he's been forced to farm more efficiently than you would like because he's got to be conservative with his mana pool. Rezo, he had the Maelstrom queued up after the Drums Yasha, instead goes for the full Sanjin Yasha into MKB, and that's okay if you hit a timing and you win the game, but you're not increasing your farming speed the same way a PA with an Empower is always going to be able to do.
Yeah.
And it's just these little things. You know, a Midas on KP, sure, it didn't feel that good in the moment, but now that he's got Vlad's, a Blink, he'll have an AC soon if he wants one.
Yeah, he's actually a useful hero, unlike the Brewmaster from Game 1.
Yeah.
Mineski are coming in. They're looking to breach up the high ground. SVG's pushing in the mid, but is that really going to be a splitter? Actually, it's KP right in the mix, looking at Universe. He's been the big fighter, but they skewer him back and bring him down. Buybacks available, and the may just have to be committed if they want to try and save themselves from a third lane of Raxing. She's just standing on the front lines. Remember, he's got the Aegis Immortal. They do not want to go on this Phantom Assassin. They won't get enough back for it. Mineski already got the buyback out from Universe. The mid lane is not pushing anywhere near hard enough. Remember, the momentum's always going to go the way of Mineski.
Position. He's completely invis here. He's going to look to toss somebody back.
He's really in the back lines. The Sentry Ward. Do they see him for half a second? Now the jump comes in. They're picking up the Rubik into the Avalanche. Toss combo. MSS is solo, and he is brought down. Buyback is there, but they move over. Timbersaw. 2 minutes on the side lane for Yuar. They already even took the range racks while that push was going on. Now the range harassment from Mineski. The poking, but the blink skewer even better. Dragging back SVG. Let the Phantom Assassin do the work. Give her a crit. Sure, why not?
It's the same as Game 1. Mineski have this ability to poke that Forward just can't match because they have the threat of these uncounterable, massive team fight abilities. The Brew to zone, ensure that you get that range racks, and now Febby can just chill. He knows that all he has to do is counter-initiate with the RP, and Ajit with this Aegis can just spam dagger, you spam toss back.
And look how easily it works. You toss him back into the Abyssal Blade stun, so Resolution wastes so much, and they're committing the RP as well. They want to bring down the Juggernaut while MS is just being sold up by KP and Moon, the back lines, and well, Omnislash will buy a little bit of time for Resolution to survive, but it will not be enough. It looks like they're pushing up the daisies, tossing back one hero after the other. Moon is just serving everyone up from Forward on a silver platter, and GG is the call. Mineski will 2-0 the series, eliminating Forward Gaming from ESL One Katowice and propelling themselves into the playoffs.
That was a huge statement victory from Mineski. I was counting them out, admittedly incorrect. They did a great job defending their high ground twice, once against Aegis, once without, and just well done, really. Like, Forward, you made a couple mistakes, but it wasn't anything groundbreaking, maybe a little inefficient here or there, but Mineski just making a statement. They made it to the major for the first time this year. They needed this kind of win. Both these teams are at that same tier. The loser will have way too much time in Poland to sit and think before they have to plan for the major ahead. The winner, of course, taking much-needed momentum into the bracket stage.
Hey, that's why you got so many great teams here that Forward can scrim against and continue to get better and maybe come in with an attitude which is we haven't lost yet. Let's maybe change that one around a little bit. But Mineski, as you said, like, it's such great confidence now for them to take. The combination worked well, even when you think like, oh, our draft is helping us win this. The draft maybe not as great to help us win this, but you can still play the game plan. You're still being tested, and you were being tested. Like, Forward were pushing you. They were pressuring you so hard, yet still, without RP, without massive abilities, they still nail the defense. They still get great target priority. I'm loving to watch Moon actually just almost give Mineski a focal point for every fight.
And you wanted us to do Secret Gambit on the mainstream. I had to talk him out of it. I knew this would be a winner.
It looked like it could be fantastic though. Both teams went 7-1 on the groups. We had the choice and we decided to go for it. I was convinced that the game that actually meant something. We should watch it. Thank you, Carl. Terrific game too. Happy to see Mineski pulling out a victory.
Yes, indeed. A victory which is bookended, actually. Mineski started off this tournament winning their opening 2 games, then went on a 6-game losing streak, and they end the group stage by winning their last 2 games as well. It also means, of course, more importantly for them, they qualify for the bracket stage. Goodbye, Forward Gaming. They have finished 9th to 10th here at ESL One Katowice, and that is absolutely not what they came here to do. Gents, it's been a poor tournament. Let's not beat around the bush. Let's get rid of the elephant in the room as far as Forward Gaming are concerned. There were rumours circulating after the major that they were going to make changes. They came here. Yeah. There has to be changes after this event, surely.
I'm so reluctant to say something like that because, again, I know some of these guys. I like them quite a bit. But, yeah, this team is playing much less than the sum of its parts right now. Yep. We talked about their results at CQ. Their results on paper were okay, but I talked to some of their players after those games, and it was just kind of clear that they weren't communicating at the level that they had been in the past after the games. What went wrong? What could we have done differently? And I think that's the kind of problem that tends to show itself going forward in play.
Yeah.
You saw that here.
It's so brutal, Cap, in a way, this game, isn't it? Because that game could have gone so differently, and at one point did look like it was going to go completely the other way, and we could be sat here talking about, wow, Forward have got a shot now, they're in the bracket stages, who knows where they go from there, maybe they go on and do really well and finish top 3. Like, that's how brutal Dota 2 can be in the blink of an eye.
You want to know my thought process when Alan asked me, like, which team I like? I looked at Forward and I was like, I like Forward's drafts more. I really like this last pick Timbersaw. But one of the biggest thing that stood out to me, you know, it's Blitz got it from Kuro. It's the strongman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you're playing Timbersaw, and I was just that came up in my head, and I was just like, Forward's not playing the cleanest of Dota.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, they're not really doing great. Like, if they can actually close out the game, then it'll look pretty one-sided. But like, are they going to be able to close out the game? Like, we've seen Juggernaut doesn't really scale that well going later into the game. We've seen, like, Rezo feel a little ineffective on the Juggernaut. We've seen, like, Timbersaws who, like, feel like they're dominating the game, and then 35 minutes happens, and you die once or twice, and all of a sudden the game is over. I don't think Leshrac is going to scale that well for you either. So I guess it's, like, for me, it's not really that surprising that Forward loses just because Forward has just been kind of in bad form. And you know, and again, I think Mineski, I've been clowning on them a lot in this tournament, but I don't think that, like, Forward played exceptionally terrible in this. Like, I thought Mineski held some really clutch high ground defenses, plenty of really good RP skewer back that turned into some phenomenal high ground defenses. So props to Mineski for that. They definitely showed that there is more to them than I gave credit for.
Yeah, I want to go back to Jug if we have the time, because I think this is a game that really showcases a lot of the discussions we've had about the pros and cons of the hero. But the main thing for me is, man, after questioning the support duo of Mineski, after saying Fabi needs to step up, Fabi. I mean, he was game saving. Quite simply, in this game. They're going home, if not for his plays inside the Dire base.
Yeah, in on 22 of the 26 kills during the game.
Unbelievable. Like, MVP by a mile to me.
And Pilai Dai chipping in as well, 4, 8, and 20. He's on 24 of the 26 kills.
Ajit proving that his PA, maybe he's sort of like the conversation that we were having about Ice and his Pango. Yeah. Like, there's certain players and certain heroes that maybe they're just good enough with it that they almost transcend what the meta is, and Ajit has certainly made an argument for that in this series.
Yeah, and he's died once in 2 games.
You know, when you talk about, when you use Kyle's favorite term, acceleration, right? That's one of the big things about when you're a PA and you have a mag on your team, you're never really out of the game, because you always have that big mechanic, not only empower accelerating your farm, but you always have the ability to reposition enemy targets in fights to really leverage your mobility advantage as a hero. Yeah, this guy, I mean, that was one of the better individual Dota games I've seen him play this season. I think his team, you know, take this guy out for dinner because he just saved your tournament life.
That good.
Do they win this game without, you can name any number of 2 or 3 different plays of his on the mag that I don't think they win this game without.
Okay. Cap, agree, disagree?
Oh, I agree. I think Fabi definitely did a great job. Played better than I've seen him play a lot of games in the past. I'm not sure if I would have called him MVP, but
who's your MVP?
I mean, it might have been Ajit.
Okay.
Just,
okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm down
he's
with
a
that
monster.
Too. I'm down with that too.
You know, just simply because of the fact that Fabi's performance was in stark contrast to some of the other performances at this tournament, then I'm okay with having an MVP for this game.
Ajit went 22, 1, and 15 in this series. I don't know quite what else he could have done to be the MVP. Alan didn't give it to him. We have, however, got him with Shiva.
Thanks, Paul, here with Ajit. Congratulations on 2-0 that series. Before you went in this series, you knew you had a 2-0 Forward Gaming to actually make it through. Did that put any extra pressure on you?
It's not just that. I feel like we need to not mess up anymore as a team, because we lost 6 in a row and it feels really bad, and we discussed a lot about it, so I'm pretty confident before we play.
Yeah, you guys have been you know, relatively recently formed, or at least with this 5-man squad. It seemed to be going okay. I talked to Pi earlier. He said there's a rising line in you guys' performance. How do you feel about how you've been doing?
I feel about normal, just okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, now let's talk about this series here, because in that first game, you guys were super dominant. What allowed you to have that solid grip on the game?
I think the best thing is we just stop doing some random decision and we play really well.
It definitely showed that you guys were playing really well. Now, the second game was a little bit more tricky. You guys had a Magnus PA, which, I mean, is a standard combo, but it hasn't been done in a little while. What made you go for that combination? And were you ever worried because you had that peak timing, you knew you were going to be okay? Or were you thinking maybe forward is going to push before you hit that?
I think it's a bit like a gamble, because it's like we have to buy space to get into a point that we can win the game. So it's like we just want to play, and it's our best strat too. So we are pretty confident about it.
All right, now looking forward. Obviously, you're moving forward. What are you going to do in the rest of the day, as to relax after this series, or already preparing for tomorrow?
Get better.
Yeah, prepare.
Get better. Prepare ourselves.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you get that done then, and hopefully we'll talk to you again later on. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Paul.
Thanks very much, Shiva. Yeah, Arjit there with a very happy man as well, after going 2-0 and making it through to the bracket with his team. Mineski, score correction as well, by the way. Went 22-1-18 during the series. I docked him 5 assists.
How dare you?
I know. I'm a bad man. Yeah, great series from him. We're pulling your leg about the MVP. I could have been any of the players, but he's had a very good series though, and that's played its part in this team. We talked about how reliable Moon is, and they've got to play around him. And Cat made the point at the start of the series. They've got to find more than one guy. Maybe they have.
I mean, let's be clear. We got to find some way to make these MVP discussions interesting, because at least for the tournament so far, the biggest question based on what we've seen is what color is Nisha's Ben's going to be. Yeah. But there's a lot of Dota to be played, and I definitely think there was a good discussion in this game. I loved Ajit's use of the phrase "buy space," because I feel like we talk a lot on these panels about creating space, but not about how. What resources are you going to leverage in order to create that space? And I think it's a subtle distinction, but I like it.
I could tell. I was like, this is such an economist thing.
Absolutely. I'm with
you can't just create matter. There has to be something that comes out of it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
How do you buy
as
space?
As soon as he picked that phrase up, Cap, I was already on the whole. He's going full economy mode.
You knew it.
Before he gets taken away and we become an economist lecture here on the analysis. We'd like to be educational, don't get me wrong, but we don't want to go too deep down the rabbit hole. Instead, we're going to head to a break right now. When we come back, we'll be heading into Group B. That's it as far as Group A is concerned. We'll bring you right up to date after the break. It's exactly where we finished in Group A and who's qualified. I can already tell you Team Secret have finished top after going 9-1. But it's now moving on to Group B, and I tell you what, there's going to be some fireworks in this next series. It's Asta versus Complexity.